All right, so you've got that big Power Apps interview coming up, right? You've put in the hours, you've built the apps, but now it's game time. You've got to prove it. So let's get you prepped to absolutely nail it.
You know how it is. Prepping for a technical interview can feel like you're trying to study, well, everything. But what if you knew exactly what to focus on? The key topics that come up again and again. Well, that's what we're going to do right now.
We're going to cut right through the noise. No fluff, no weird, obscure functions you'll never use. We're going to lock in on the core concepts that show an interviewer you're the real deal. A serious, capable Power Apps developer.
Okay, let's start with the absolute basics, the non-negotiables. Getting these questions right is going to build a super strong foundation for the rest of the interview.
First up, the classic opener. So, what is Power Apps? You want your answer to be sharp and confident. The magic words are Platform as a Service, or PaaS. And the key idea is that it's all about rapidly building custom apps for business needs, connecting to all sorts of data. Simple, clean, and to the point.
I can almost guarantee you'll be asked to compare Canvas and model-driven apps. The number one thing to remember is their starting point. Canvas apps, well, they start with a blank canvas. It's all about the user experience, giving you total pixel-perfect control of the UI. Model-driven apps, on the other hand, start with your data model. The app's layout is pretty much built for you based on that data structure, which is awesome because it makes them responsive from the get-go.
All right, let's talk about the heart of any app, the data. Because knowing how to handle information efficiently is what separates a beginner from an expert. It's way more than just connecting to a source. It's how you read it, write it, and work with it.
You absolutely need to know these 4 functions. Filter is for when you need a whole table of records, like show me all the active projects. Lookup is kind of like Filter's lazy cousin. It searches for the same thing but stops and returns only the very first record it finds. Collect is your go-to for making a temporary table or collection that lives right inside your app. And Patch, that's your powerhouse for changing existing records or creating new ones in your main data source.
Okay, listen up, because this one's a big deal. Delegation. This is how an interviewer can tell if you've really worked on large-scale apps. The idea is simple, but so critical. Instead of pulling, say, 5,000 items from a SharePoint list into your app just to find 5 of them, delegation lets you push that processing work to SharePoint. The data source does the heavy lifting and sends back only the 5 items you actually need. It's the secret sauce for making apps that are blazing fast, even with massive amounts of data.
So, your app works. That's great. But is it fast? Is it secure? What happens when something goes wrong? Does it just crash? This next part is about moving from it works to building apps that are truly professional grade, robust, reliable, and ready for the real world. When they ask about performance, you need a game plan. Here it is. 1. Delegate everything you possibly can. Let the data source do the work. 2. Keep your formulas simple. Don't overcomplicate things. 3. Shape your data. If you only need 3 columns from a table that has 30, only ask for those 3. And 4. Use the right tools for the job. A single gallery is way more efficient than trying to manage hundreds of individual text boxes. It's all about reducing the workload on the app itself.
You know, a junior developer's app just crashes when something unexpected happens. A senior developer's app sees the problem coming and handles it with style. That's error handling. It's about asking yourself, okay, what if the Wi-Fi drops out? Or what if the user types their name in the phone number field? And then building a plan for it.
And the if-error function is your absolute best friend for this. Look at this example. You're basically telling the app, hey, try to submit this form, but if that blows up for any reason, don't just crash and burn. Instead, run this other bit of code, which in this case just shows the user a friendly submission failed message. So much better, right?
Security is, of course, a huge deal. On a basic level, you can talk about sharing apps with specific people or security groups. But if you really want to impress them, start talking about the deep security model in Dataverse for model-driven apps. When you mention things like business units or even column-level security, it shows you're thinking about how to protect sensitive information at a really granular level.
Okay, so you've nailed the fundamentals. You've proven you can build a solid, reliable app. Now, how do you separate yourself from the other candidates? You do it by showing you know how Power Apps fits into the bigger picture. So what happens when you need to connect to some internal, custom-built system that doesn't have a standard connector? That's where custom connectors come in. You're essentially teaching Power Apps how to speak a new language, how to talk to a new API. Explaining this proves you can solve those tricky integration problems that go way beyond the standard out-of-the-box stuff.
Think of Power Apps as the user interface, the part the user sees and touches. Power Automate is the engine that does all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. You have to explain how you can kick off a flow from a button in your app, passing it data using the Power Automate.run function. This is how you automate the big stuff, sending complex emails, generating documents, starting a whole approval process, all from one little button click.
All right, we have covered a ton of technical ground. But believe it or not, the final piece of the puzzle isn't technical at all. It's all about your mindset. It's about how you approach the job.
So if you remember one thing, remember this. They are not hiring a walking, talking technical manual. They are hiring a problem solver. So always frame your answers around solving a business need. Don't just say, I used the patch function. Instead, say, the sales team needed a way to quickly update customer info from their phones, so I used the patch function to make that happen. Connect the technology to the value it brings.
Because ultimately, that's what this is all about. It's not about passing a test. It's about showing a company that you're the person who can come in, understand their challenges, and use these amazing tools to build a solution. Walk into that room with that confidence, and you're going to do great. Good luck.